Well, welcome folks, welcome to Reloved Guitars, to the second setup in this new workshop, in its new location, with its new weirdness all around. And in this setup I'm going to rework this lovely old, what do I call it, T3, a massively heavy Telecaster style thing that I made in oak and Ekki, and it's made from very thick Ekki, which was so heavy. Well, it was not only heavy, but it also continued to dry out, so the shape of it has kind of warped and bent into a scalloped kind of shape. It weighs a ton, but it's great fun to play, and it's a good gigging guitar, and it's kind of come up to the workshop here to live up here so I can play along and have some fun when it's downtime. Downtime! Now where's my little thing gone? Aha! Oh, that's the wrong one. Right, I have to find the right hex key. Anyway, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to begin with I'm going to start with a close-up. We've got, what time is it now? It's about 5:30 or something. People have just gone, most people have just left from the workshop here. Workshop? No, what's it called? The industrial estate. And so it's kind of, machinery wise, it's gone quiet out there, which is cool. And here I've got just the sound of the heater going at the moment, because right this second it's about 8 degrees, which actually is quite bearable. But anyway, so I'm going to make a click. No, that's a photo. I do this every time. Thank you, video. Run the thing. That should synchronize the two. I have to do it, I have to have a sound signal. Anyway, so here we have the Reloved Guitars T3 made from reclaimed floorboards, or salvaged floorboards I should say. They hadn't been used before, but they were left over from a building project, I think. So these are floorboards with tongue and groove down there somewhere if you look really closely. So I did a very heavy build on this thing. It's got this massively thick Ekki down here with a chunk of solid oak on top, and then to make the neck I upcycled a Westfield Tele neck, which had bent. The guitar had suffered some water damage, so the neck had sort of gone all curvy, which I quite liked for its quirkiness. So on this guitar I fitted, I don't know how well you can see, you can, I fitted Evo gold frets, so the nice big jumbo frets, and it's got a nice low action. It's just choking out a little bit now, so it's time for it to be revisited. We've got a Telecaster style pickup at the neck. We've got probably something like an Artec or a Woman, something like that. Actually, it could be a Vanson rail, and then we've got I think this is a Blues Engine iron gear, and then behind that we've got the little short bridge from Wilkinson, which I quite like. A couple of Telecaster style pots, 5-way switch. I think this is one of the early ones where I discovered how difficult it is to actually hand make a slot in thick wood. And we've got a coil split, which is a push-push, and it works. The coil split on that one, I think, or possibly both of them, I can't remember. Anyway, and then turn it over, and you may see that it's got a diagonally sanded from satin to almost matte neck, with a few little dimples here where it's got knocks and stuff. And then we've got Wilkinson Deluxe tuners up there, and some kind of near gloss or semi-gloss there. And we've also got a 3-bolt system for the neck, and this Ekki stuff is absolutely rock solid. And then we've got a U pickup cover and handmade copper plate. So a nice big scalloped cutaway here, as you can see. Carving that out of Ekki is quite fun. And here you can see some chunks that have broken out of this. Down there you can probably see I tried to do some weight relieving, and I drilled out cores of Ekki and filled them with just plugs basically, and that was a lot of fun and a mess. And you can see it's not very attractive, but it didn't matter because this is definitely a keeper, and it's just a knockabout guitar for me. So what would be nice for me today is I brought some stuff up to the workshop tonight, and I think I'm just going to use the time to let me just put this here. I'm going to use the time to set this up. That will create me another video file, which I haven't had that many of for quite some time. Some people very kindly pointed out that in this video camera I now look fatter than I was last year. Probably am. There we go. Somebody said, "Don't worry, Sam, don't be ashamed, everyone gets fatter during lockdown." Anyway, whether that's true or not, or whether I have or not, it's the way it is. I think it's the camera, the different lens is showing me in a less flattering way. Okay, so I'm going to get this thing set up, and I think I'm shooting on this camera. The sound isn't so great on this camera here, although it's not too bad because I can talk quite loudly. And at the moment we've only got the sound of the fan to overcome. So I'm going to leave it as it is. What I am going to do is get myself a little tiny hex key, which I will need. There's probably one kicking around somewhere, but I don't rightly know where. Do I know where? The tiny hex key for adjusting the nut. I haven't got one kicking around, so I'll borrow one from this department of adjustable nuts here. So yeah, this is like a little treat to me. I need to get some more of these little hex keys. If I'm not careful, I end up using them all up, and I give away one with every adjustable nut. So let's have that there, and let's put that there with the other one for the largest size thing, so at least I know where they are. Yeah, so I just wanted to bring some stuff up here, perhaps file a few more tools and bits and pieces later on, and then tomorrow I'm hoping to take care of some. Oh, it's the wrong one. Tomorrow I'm going to bring up the last of the power tools. I think it's time to bring up the bandsaw. Okay, so let's have a lift that up a little bit to where it should be. Now, probably over time, the stress or pressure of these tens has probably caused the nut to just sit a bit lower in the pocket, and that's fine. So I've just raised it up a little bit, and so far in using these adjustable nuts, I haven't really had too much of a problem with that. They've worked pretty well. This is probably one of the oldest guitars I've got that I fitted one to. So, gosh, I know where all my things are. How brilliant. So just having a quick look, I think this is going to be a matter of just a small adjustment to the action, if any, and then just going ahead with fret level. In fact, the action here is absolutely spot on, and the only reason I thought about doing a reset up is because there was a little bit of choking out on those top strings or higher notes. So not a bad thing, and it'll give me a chance to shine the strings up, and there you go. So that will be good. So as it stands, I have got the first fret action the way I like it. The neck relief is actually fairly large, so I could even take that down a little bit. Now that will change how this guitar feels to play. Now my slight problem here is I don't know where the box of all the hex keys has gone. Now it is somewhere around, and I will have to dig it out, but if I can't find it straight away. Lots of little drill bits, that's nice. So I can't find it. I might have to try and use one of these fellas here, and it will be the 4mm one. So I just want to flatten it out a little bit. Let's see if I can convincingly do it from that end. Yeah, that'll do. That's done a change. Look, back onto the magnets. Oh yeah. So next stop. No, different. Next up is let's just get the frets marked up. So, oh hell, there we go, I've done it again. Off comes the, I'll put that back on later. That's the lens guard. So this is the first time this has been looked at in a long time, so it's due for a refresh, I think. And what I might also do is have a bit of a karang once I've done it. Since I've got my amp to play music through an auxiliary, and I also got a little Roland amp to sort of just maybe use as the gig along with my favourite track or two. And that's a sort of one of those private guilty pleasure things that I won't be sharing with you, because I just noodle playing. I'm not really, well, I'm sometimes playing the rhythm parts, sometimes I'm playing a noodly follow along type of lead guitar-ish part. Actually, it's not really lead guitar, it's more like I'm playing a melody line or whatever I hear, really. Anyway, but it's my idea of relaxation, let's put it that way. So yeah, this is setup number 2. I'll take a little break somewhere along the way because I've just been heating up the water heater in my new kitchen-y space. A kitchen is too nice a word for it. It's a dirty room that's been made into a kitchen, or it's a space that's been made into a dirty room that's been made into a kitchen. That's being probably most accurate. Just spiking himself on something. Okay, so right now we have various hex keys, and up here somewhere we've got the box of bits which also need to live somewhere at easy reach, so I think in that corner will be the thing for these. But a bit of Morris fur. Some people have said that they're going to miss Morris, and yeah, I know the feeling. He's been going in and out of the shed as I've been picking up things, collecting things to bring up here, and he can see the shed getting emptier and emptier, and I feel sorry for him, bless him, little soul. Anyway, but he knows something's changing, but I think I'm being a bit sentimental if I think he was really that much bothered about being in there. I think he liked another place to be other than in the house, and I don't blame him because there's a lot of other cats around to annoy him, but I think he really did enjoy the chance to get away, and he loved being with his master, of course. Sorry, I loved being with my master, that's the truth of it. Okay, so first little work over. So at this level I just want to make sure that the notes all play. Which they do, and then I'll start worrying about the bendy parts in a minute. When we bend the string over into the G track is where it normally causes a problem or runs into trouble. So we'll start kind of thinking that way right now as we're in the B track. And I am concentrating my force, my attention and my weight a little bit into this area here. My not insubstantial weight in that area there. Okay, so now it's the challenging one, the G track. This is where the chokes always live, and this is where we're going to get them out and tidy up, make it play well. So I'm just checking the calibration. See, a little change required there to get down into the curve the neck has in it. It's good. Let's take that little blue patch home and give it a clean. Could do with a wash out. Okay, so this is one where now if I focus on this end area here a bit more, this is where we hope to hear the choke disappear. I think we will. Okay, so we're going to look a bit more on that. I mean, it is low anyway, but I've set a low target, but I'm going to keep working on it to get out these last notes. Now, it's kind of, at this end I can afford to be a little bit more prescriptive, read heavy-handed, because I'm building a bit of a, what you might, other people might call a fall away into it, which means some of the frets after these last few where it joins the body are going to be slightly flatter, but almost there. How is that? I'm hearing that in the B track, so I'm going to give the B track a little more work with the same calibration. So being kind of a bit naughty there. I'm just going to give that B a little bit more of a kick. So I was having a conversation today with Petra, who is a local Devon business coach who I've been privileged to have supporting me a little bit in Reloved Guitars. Just make sure I'm not hitting anything there. Going to do a tiny bit more on the G. Yeah, so having a conversation with Petra today, and she's been offering some business support to Reloved over the last 8 months, something like that. We started, actually, no, nearly, yeah, about 8 months. We met just before the COVID-19 thing happened, and then our meetings then moved on to being virtual. It's actually been a great help and a great foil to help me work my way through thinking of what I'm going to do, what I need to do. And so yeah, we had a good old chat today, and I forgot what I was going to tell you. That apart from that, it's just news. So that was about an hour and 20 minutes on Zoom. One of the things, we talked about quite a lot of things, one of them being, we regularly talk about, we've often talked about the different kinds of things that I could do with Reloved Guitars, and we talked about my plan to do another ebook. I think we're at the end of what's possible there. Just looking at this, I can't see. What's the radius on this? 9.5. Yeah, I don't think we can actually get any lower action. But let's just look at what we are on the height, because that's pretty adventurous anyway. It just might make sense to lift it up a tiny bit rather than chase any more leveling. Yeah, I mean that's a 1 millimeter, so that is a bit adventurous. So I will raise it up a smidgen. I'll go up by 0.2, which I'd say would be about a quarter of a turn clockwise. That's half a tone. Do a quarter. Thank you. Quarter of a tone. There we go. Yeah, that's getting a tone out of it. Just. A little bit more. We've got big frets here, so we've got room to hit it quite hard. I don't want to go any lower on the action because it doesn't need to be. I'm just going to sort of do a little bit more on the B into the G. Just give it some more welly. See what we can achieve. I'm going to do that again because we're almost there. Let's do the B and the G together. Ooh. Anyway, yeah, so we had a good chat about various things, and she was very pleased because the last time we spoke I was looking for somewhere to a workshop to use, and it was a bit of a headache at the time, you know, and times were, money was tight, and couldn't have predicted that, or couldn't have imagined that I would have got a great deal like this. So she was absolutely thrilled for me when I got this arrangement set up, and so we spent quite a bit of time talking about what other kind of things I could be doing here, and one of them is to do another ebook, which I'm looking forward to. I've got one in mind anyway. Another one will be to continue and promote more my one-to-one sessions, which I really want to focus on making it worldwide, because I don't need a ton of business. I just need a few people in every region to keep it interesting and make it worthwhile and profitable, so as an activity. So it's not a huge ask of the world, but it's about pitching it in the right place, and knowing where and how to market it. So I'm looking forward to experimenting with that. Interestingly, one of the things that we discussed quite intensely is her feeling that my pricing of that offer, she feels, is undervaluing, and that sort of pressed quite a few buttons for me. I think when I started doing it, I picked I had the mentality of picking an hourly figure and saying, oh that's about right, isn't it? That sounds like a good hourly rate. And of course that's a disservice to a service that I'm offering. So I really, she challenged me to rethink that, and actually I think she's right. I think it has to be like the first ebook. Any service I do that offers my time, and it's not so much even the experience as a guitar person. It's a combination of that and my ability to my understanding of how to help people make sense of some issues or complex things that they've got stuck with, and that's the sort of something I've been doing in one way or another professionally most of my working life. So I think the challenge is to look at what the actual value of that is, and to price it much more fairly according to value, not on the basis of some figure in my head that I think is a decent hourly rate. So I'm definitely going to re-look at that. So here we have a very okay, we've got some bit more work needing on that one. That's why also one of the reasons I wanted to do this was for that low E. Slightly up, thank you, slightly up on the edges. So I'm trying my best to keep the workbench clean. So I think I will try and have some mats on top of the basic carpet, so that it doesn't end up getting covered in this grime, because this is actually quite a messy business. Okay, now I'm kind of getting stuck into the ends of these frets. Just want to get rid of that clattering. I mean, it is a low action, and some people go, oh, it's too low for a Tele. I like to make it play that way, and then I can always go upwards from there. There you go. That is wonderful. Right, I'm going to take these filthy hands, I'm going to put a pause, I'm going to get me hot water, wash my hands, clean up, and come back here for the next bit. Since I have now done that. Get in there, you. Get over there, you. You filthy thing, hang back up on there. Alright, see you in a moment. Nice cup of coffee. Make my own coffee. I don't have a lovely wife to bring it to me anymore. I'm bereft. Anyway, so this was 10s on it, and I think it should have 9s for my preferred playing style. Now what we got here is a mighty stinky dusty neck, so I'm going to get some slightly damp IPAR. Try and just clean off as much of it as I can. Yeah, nice gold. Goldy dust. Yes, that's the one, golden dust. And so this will obviously clean up delightfully when all is done. Let's have a look in there. Yeah, standing up in the slot okay. Let's give this a bit of a clean down. What I'll do, once I've just got the bulk of this dust off, get rid of that, and then I'll clean it with some solvent. Yeah, we'll need to get in another order of this goodly stuff. This lint-free cloth, because it's running out. I've got a couple of pieces left hanging up. Let's give this a clean off. So I'm going to do this before I put before I do anything else. Actually, just I'm going to clean it up a bit because it's looking filthy. Wrong camera. Sorry. Across at camera 1. Anyway, yes. So before I went and got my hot water and made a cup of coffee. So yeah, I had a good session with Petra on Zoom. So we've got plenty of things to think of, but in the shortish term between now and Christmas and the New Year, I'm planning to do a photo shoot, stroke video shoot, and then write an ebook, and it's going to be on making your first guitar, but it's not going to be the sort of standard thing. Obviously I've got to try and do it, I've got to do it in the Reloved Guitars manner, which is very particular. Let's have the next tool I need. Oh yay, comes with the magnet attached. That's okay. Yeah, so it's got to be in a particular style, and so I'm sort of in the process of thinking that through. I'm getting clear on what it's going to be. You know, I've always been of the opinion that we're not lacking information in the world. What we're lacking is very often ways of making it make sense, and that's what I've always been interested in doing. So the point of a Reloved Guitars book is to demystify something and turn information into understanding for somebody who hasn't found that link before, and that's what I like to try and do. That's what I aim to do. So I will be aiming to do the same with a book on making your first guitar. So what I won't be aiming to do is get people lost in a sea of perfectionism and kind of trying to make a guitar that is, you know, the best looking Gibson Les Paul copy. You know, there's lots of people can do that. You know, people can buy kits and, you know, spend a lot of time at home staining and finishing different kinds of woods and stuff, and that's great. I mean, none of it's bad, but it's not a vehicle. That's not the vehicle for me to help get across some of the key aspects that I've learned about making guitars. And that doesn't mean at all, by the way, that I'm an expert in this. That's not what I'm ever claiming. What I'm aiming to do, that maybe perhaps some other people haven't done or don't do as well, is to give somebody an embodied sort of understanding of something that you might look back on and say, oh my God, that's incredibly simple. But if you didn't know it before, but now you truly know it, then it's worth you having explained it and shown you, and you having learned it. Particularly if it makes everything you do work at a core level. Now, you know, I'm not the best finisher in the world. That's not a skill set I've yet got, and you know, I aim to keep on learning some stuff as you know, the longer I stay here, the more I'm going to experiment with doing finishing and stuff. But what I have been able to do is, in the time I've been doing that and the setups, is to make playable guitars that stay in tune, and that's basically what I'm aiming to show somebody how to do. And within that, you know, stuff about trying to cut it to a perfect Les Paul shape, or getting the perfect you know, burst finish or whatever, it's just not going to be, that's not going to be on the agenda. Okay, so now I have re-crowned the frets. Now I'm going to do a kind of final clear out of, re-clean of the fingerboard with the last of this bottle. I have some more. I'm just getting all of the marker pen off and the fret dust from the crowning file, and then basically ready to do the slightly boring process of masking off the whole neck and polishing out all of these frets one by one, or you know, all through the grades of paper. And what I'll do is I'll go off camera for that, put the radio on and zone out for a bit, because I like to have a pause, and then we'll come back after these frets all beautifully polished and shined up. And then this will be the guitar I grab off the wall when I'm up here to have a fun play along. You can see all that grime that came off, and the fingerboard actually is looking a lot nicer at the moment than it was. It's been sitting around at the top of my stairs for a fair old chunk of time, so it's nice to put it back into operation. Okay, so I'm going to go back. These are really old strings, and I think I'm going to chop them off rather than try and salvage them for sacrificial strings. I think it's a good time to get a shot of them. So here they go. So what I'll do is I will mask off this neck. I'll polish, recround it, I'll polish out the frets with a plain shine, and then we'll be back to restring it and do the sort of final part of the setup. So see you in a little bit. Okay, let's continue. So the heater's off and we're into polishing mode. Temperature nearly 14 degrees. Actually quite a pleasant temperature to work in. More than that, and you can start getting an unpleasant sweat going on. So what I've done is I've just tried to do an overhead camera shot on this, just as a comparison. I'm sorry if it's not the greatest thing. I'm sort of looking at what the difference is between using the Huawei camera and the Sony camera. Perhaps on the next one I'll do it all on the Huawei and just really see if I can fit an entire setup into, in one go. Don't know how much memory is on board that camera phone thing. With a bit of luck, we should get it all on. So, tomorrow I bring the last of the equipment, and then the shed really will be empty. I will be getting in some twinkly lights. Need some softer lighting around this place. And some colour, some pictures of Morris. But it's okay for a beginner, for starting off. I've been thinking, I had a look in the kitchen room just now while I was getting hot water, and I've been meaning to check and see what the walls and the ceiling were made out of. So in here it's made out of industrial refrigerator truck panels. So they've taken apart the truck and built this cute cabin out of it on the first floor in this warehouse. But in the other room it's thin hardboard and stud partition by the look of it. Now that's not so good from the insulation heating point of view, or controlling the humidity point of view. So in here I've been able to control the humidity reasonably well in that side room down there, because it's attached to this. I've got quite a lot of insulation on the roof above there. I am going to put a load of insulation above the so-called spray room, the kitchen room. But I'm sort of nervous about whether I'll be able to control the environment in there. If I can't, then what I'm going to have to do is switch track, one of the two. And what I think I'll probably end up doing is keeping spraying to here, shutting a curtain or thing off here to stop, or actually down there, spray in the end section there, build in a fan to vent outside, and then use the kitchen room as a heavy duty woodworking room to make lots of sawdust to keep this area here relatively clean, or at least clearable up a bit. So that may well be the way it goes, since I've already had some reasonable results controlling the environment just down here. Helped probably by this amazing 6-inch thick cocoon of insulation. Anyway, let's see. This is working up a bit of a gleam, I should say. there and wash my hands again, which is what having the hot water is good for. I'll put some nice new Ernie Ball 9s on here. Bendy ones, because I like to be able to play along my lead guitar-y bits. Not that I claim to be able to do any of that stuff, you know, but I like it, I enjoy it. I enjoy it. I've long since given up that sort of destructive practice of comparing myself to other people and focusing on what I can't do, which is a kind of activity that one does a lot when one is young. It seems to be, I don't know why, you just seem to spend all your time thinking about how you don't live up to X, Y and Z, instead of celebrating what it is you can do and what you are. So it's a bit like that thing about putting on weight. You know, the only reason putting on weight bothers me is it makes it harder to find clothes, and it's not, you know, it's not so healthy to have body mass index carrying fat around with you. But it's not really an ego thing for me. It's just that it's maybe not so healthy, and it's a pain in the ass trying to buy jeans that fit, and you know, you feel like you're wearing sacks all the time. So that's the only thing that bugs me, but it doesn't. I don't waste a lot of time thinking about what I am not, i.e. young and svelte. And there, you know, it always amazes me that, well, it makes me laugh when young, svelte people criticise older, not svelte people, as if they've got no awareness at all that one day they're going to reach their late 50s and be possibly facing a similar challenge and thinking, oh God, you know, I'm carrying around too much weight. Shall I do anything about it? Shall I exercise ruthlessly, or shall I just enjoy my life and not worry about it too much? And I have to say that's where I've ended up with it, not worrying about it too much. But hey, some people, not in this case, the friends who commented on the YouTube things, because they're good people, but some people seem to, you know, when they criticise your playing or something, or they comment on your YouTube channel to make you feel crap, or try to make you, you know, I've talked about this a lot, but it's always, it saddens me and amazes me how some people can invest a lot of time in trying to make themselves feel a little bit better about themselves only by pulling someone else down, which is really odd. But as I've said many times on this video before, or these videos, I can't be too pompous, because I remember doing that myself when I was younger and less secure in myself. It's a shame, really, horrible thing to do. The world would be so much better off if we didn't do that. Okay, where is the oil? Aha, the oil, good. That's not so bad when you can actually find something almost straight away. So let's have some nice fresh oil on this lovely levelled out, reset up Reloved Guitars impossibly heavy Telecaster style thingy. This was always a sort of prototypey thing. It's not the first, but I call it a prototype because it's just one of the very early attempts at making a T-shaped guitar using the Ekki and my favourite oak. So it was always going to be a bit on the chunky side. But having said that, despite that, it's a great guitar to play. I've enjoyed it. Okay, let's have some airing boards. Yeah, so this thing about making another ebook, definitely going to refine my focus so that I end up making a book that encapsulates the things that basically make a guitar such that you want to pick it up versus all the others that you might have in your collection that haven't been set up this way or done this way. So that's my aim, is to show you how to make a guitar that is unputtable, downable, but to make that a priority above the way it looks. And I thought long and hard about that it's kind of wanting to free people up from worrying about the things that we often worry about when we start making guitars, which is, what nitrocellulose should I use, and what should I do it as an oil finish, should I do it as a this or a that? And when I made my first kit guitar, I recall spending, it must have been at least 100 quid on nitrocellulose, because that's all I could work out or find out from the sort of people who made those kinds of guitars. That's what everyone seemed to have done, and so I ended up spending well over 100 quid on finishing, and made an absolute pig's ear of it. And there it is, covered in bloom and white stuff and burn throughs, and it's a great guitar now after all these years. I mean, I've now set it up to play brilliantly, but at the time, it's an absolute waste of money, and I think that's just a silly thing, for a beginner to go off and focus predominantly on how the thing looks, or to spend so much money on how the thing looks, and to make a mistake with it, which you're bound to do, or almost certain to do, if you're in the British climate, which is very rarely is going to be conducive to spraying with nitrocellulose, unless you've got a very still sunny day and the conditions just happen to be almost perfect, which is rare in the UK. Anyway, so I'm kind of keen to put things in the right priority order to begin with, so that when somebody uses the book or reads it, they come away going, that gave me the right priorities that I might never have focused on had I gone and built this kit guitar, or had I carried on buying expensive brand guitars, looking for that sort of holy grail of something I want to keep taking down off the peg. Part of the setup book is the argument is that if you follow the instructions, you'll make your guitar into one that you want to sort of get down off the peg every time and play, and but this is, I guess this next one is going to be how you learn what the key things are that make it possible for you to make one. And I think the focus is going to be on I'm going to deliberately focus on a found neck, or a much loved neck, and making a body to fit that neck, to suit that neck, we should say. And that's because that's really what I realised why I've done so much reusing or upcycling necks. Instead of going the whole thing and making the body and the neck from scratch together, I like the recycling, the upcycling. I like recycling. I like using up materials that aren't so damaging to the universe or the environment. I like that. That's a nice. It feels a bit better. But I really like this. I really like using necks that have lived before and have some character, and that my thing has always been about making things better, whether it's setups, making existing guitars better, or taking an old neck that maybe somebody else will be ready to chuck away, and I can, like this thing, this was heading for the bin, this neck, and I've taken it and took a sad neck and made it better. So that's kind of what I like, and I guess it's only credible for me really to, if I make a new book about it, it's one that conveys what I've learned about the important aspects of what makes a guitar matter to you, which is, you know, the staying in tune, the playing in tune, the ease of play, the one you reach for, along with one that you've invested time in and that feels special to you, and that comes through the making part, which is usually for me in the body, and it's just as much the upcycling of the neck as making one from scratch. So I kind of had to work that through in my head to see which focus I would take on it. Because there are tons of books out there, how-to books. Hey, let's use the old tuning fork again. Back on here, you. That's interesting, that wasn't that far over before. Maybe this needs to move across. It slightly tilted these saddles. Okay, a bit more stretching. So. Interesting, that's set up taller this time. Take it down, take it down. Nice, nice, nice. Mighty good, mighty good. I could do with a slightly repositioning, but I'm not sure how cooperative this neck with its 3 bolts will be. Pretty close, but just a fraction of the main attraction. I got an itch to scratch and I need action. Right, so now comes the stretching times, which is always good fun. But there we are, we're sort of nearly done on this. I'll just double check the intonation. Probably shouldn't be that much off, unless I didn't get it right first time around, which is so long ago it could be the case. I'll have a go at that. And check the time. Check the time. Oh yeah, I quite like that. I quite like it. Let's have a listen. See if it's going to play for me. play for me. I don't need the pedal. Pedal is not needed, but a lead is need. I need a lead. There's need for speed with a lead. So this, now, this, sitting under here, and I can't reach, it's not a brilliant idea. So it brings it out, plops it on here, and it's wobbling. So I'm planning, in a minute, what I'll probably do for knocking about, I'll probably play, I haven't got to the bottom of the tones on this thing yet, so I will probably play through, what will I probably do? I'll probably play music through a clean channel, the sort of auxiliary channel on that amp to put some music through, and I'll probably play along with the cube. It's the Roland cube, I called it the Boss cube the other day. Anyway, yeah, that's what I'll probably do, because I sort of can hear it, and can put it up on the bench at the right height, and I know what's going on with that. But just to begin with, let's have just a quick sample of this thing. Feels different with the nines already. It always goes on to the worst possible tone. I don't know what the good tones are. Right, let's plug in. And they've got all these settings, but you never find, there's never an obvious clean sound. And then you go through it and they make squealing noises. Shrieking noise to get what you want. Just something clean. Got loads of noise. What's this? When a chap wants just a clean sound, what does a chap have to do? Something like that. Maybe that's what a chap has to do. get it not distorting. Give me something clean. Digital noise behind it. It's like a noise gate. Eventually find a clean track, clean sound. Sound, yeah. I can't remember. What happened there? It's changing. It's changing bloody settings. time does it make it? 1844, quarter to 7. Quick access, what am I doing? Get away, exit. Quite a nice clear sound. So I'll borrow that, nick that, take this, play that, play through here. I should stop that now. Sorry, boring. I'll cut this short. Promise you I will. Got to take the back off and spray some goo in there. Get that. Switch is ungummed. Easier to work, these little Rolands. Oh, I do prefer the rolling sound. Cut. Anyway, there you go. T3 needs some stuff doing inside the pots. Give them a clean, give them a spray right now, and give it a play. Now, can I actually get this off anymore? Because it's probably shrunk since I last did it. Let's borrow a screwdriver. Okay. Blimey. That really has shrunk since last time. Hello everyone. Tick, 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 tick. Blimey. Long time no see. I had to dig some holes to fit that in because it was so large. So we'll just give it a squirt. you squirt in there. This is impossible to direct. That's what it's supposed to be. But once you get in there, you can't do nothing. Drip, drip, drip. Thank you. The main thing when you have noisy pots is to use it a lot, much better than squirting stuff in it, because the stuff doesn't really clean it off, whereas using it a lot more does, if you get what I mean. Wondering whether I should, oh, I haven't got the correct, wondering whether I should ease this off and just reorientate it. 5 millimeters. Probably got one somewhere. Alright, that's it for now. Ciao for now. Bye.